Resides permanently in Malta. Marion Lane and the Midnight Murder is the first book of a trilogy, and it is published in both the UK and the USA. It has already been translated into a number of languages, and Tess tells us more on why Malta was an inspiration to start writing her first book. So you came here to Malta and you couldn't work as a chiropractor, and you produced this wonderful book. How did you get the idea to start writing a book?
Yeah, it was very strange. So I was unemployed, as I said, and I was sort of sitting at home. My boyfriend was at work, and our two housemates were also working all day, so I was the only one sitting around all day, and I'm not the type of person who likes to kind of do nothing. And one morning, really is as random as this, I woke up with this desire to write a book. It was an idea and also a desire. I've always loved crime fiction, so it had to be a detective novel. And I started typing a scene about a female detective who is, I think that she was pursuing a killer or something. It was very random. It was just sort of out of my head, writing as I went. And as soon as I started, I realized how much I enjoyed the act of writing, just creating something from nothing. So yeah, and day by day I sat down, I wrote about 200 words a day until I had a complete draft. So once I had an initial draft, I had to do a lot of research on how you go about writing a book that other people want to read, because it was a mess. You know, I knew that it was just sort of for me. So I had to learn about plot structure, story structure, and you know, inciting incidents and midpoints and climax, and I had to learn the craft. It has taken 4 years to get into production and to be a finished book. So I was still editing it during the pandemic. I actually wrote the second book in the series completely during the pandemic, and we were in lockdown here in Malta and in South Africa. So it was
so the second book is finished also? The
second book is finished, and it will be published in February next year as well.
That's amazing. Now, can we also discuss how much inspiration, if any, you got from being in Malta and from anything that's Maltese in this book?
Absolutely. To me, this is a book that came only because I moved to Malta, so I owe it all to Malta. But in plot-wise, around the middle of, I was about midway through the draft, and I was thinking, at that time I had a detective agency. The detective agency in this book is called Miss Brickett's Investigations and Inquiries. And it's set in London, but it was sort of an ordinary kind of detective agency, just a normal building and whatever. And I thought, I don't really like that. I wanted to be more fantastical. I wanted to be a little bit more secretive and whatever. And I wanted these detectives to be concealed from the outside world. And at that time, I went on a tour of the Valletta war tunnels and underground war rooms and so on. And immediately I thought, yes, I'm hooked on this. It must be a subterranean detective agency. I did that tour, I think, 3 times just to like absorb the atmosphere. I absolutely love it. It's the most incredible. I tell everyone when they come to Malta, it's the first thing you must do. And so, based on that, I set the Miss Brickett's Investigations and Inquiries underground in a labyrinth of tunnels. So absolutely Malta is in that book, even though it's set in London.
And do we have to wait right till the very end to find out who
the killer
is? Yes.
The killer is revealed more or less at the end, but there are a few chapters afterwards where you learn why, and also the Marion Lane, who's the main character, has to sort of catch him because he's off, he's run away. So, but yes, more or less at the end.
Can you very briefly, for those who may be inspired by listening to you today, tell us what the procedure was to get the book published? And then I have to say, you've got a deal in the US also.
Yes, so you have to submit to literary agents the first 3 chapters and a synopsis and a cover letter, and that's what I did. That also took a long time to put together because it needs to be professional. I think agents, I know my agency, who I'm now represented by, they receive 100 submissions a day. So they can't read everything, so you need to give them that you know, first line has to be perfect. So I went about constructing all those documents and submitted. But I submitted to, I think, 20 agents, and I got 9 immediate rejections, and just sort of nope, 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 which was hard, you know, because you start to lose a little bit of hope. But then I got a few agents who didn't even reply, and eventually I got Hayley Steed, who is my agent from Madeline Milburn Literary Agency in London. She replied and she said she absolutely loved the concept, and could I send her the full manuscript. And sort of immediately after she'd read the manuscript, she offered me representation. And then we went about editing the manuscript with her, because after this stage you have to submit to publishers. And she submitted to publishers in the United States and in London. And pretty quickly we got 5, I think it was 4 or 5 offers from the United States. So it went to auction, which was really fun. I had to speak to all the editors and publishers on the telephone and kind of decide who. I was the one deciding who to take, which was so cool. And then same thing happened in the UK. We got an offer there, and it's also going to be, or it has been translated into German, Croatian, Turkish. So it's been very exciting, and I didn't know anything about it, so I do believe anyone who's passionate about writing can make it if they.
So in the other 2 books that are forthcoming, we're going to see the same character?
Yes, it's the same character, the same world. So this book follows Marion Lane, the main character, in her first year of training to be a detective. So the second book will follow her second year, and the third book her third year of training. My book is available in Malta. It's available in Agenda bookstores, as well as online on Book Depository and Amazon UK. The book has had some great reviews. I was lucky enough to have some blurbs from Stuart Turton and a number of other best-selling authors. But the book has been featured in the New York Journal of Books, and it was chosen by Amazon US as one of their editors' picks. It's had many other reviews, so it's been really cool.
This program supports authors with a cultural exchange of the best contemporary international literature. Have you been inspired to read any of the books in today's program, or has it encouraged you to start a writing project? Send your comments via WhatsApp. We carry on seeing how cosmopolitan Malta has become. The 3 authors we've met have come from different countries and written different types of books. Thank you for watching our briefing in English. I'm Leah Hogg for Net TV. I wish you a good evening.